I am so pleased to be doing another Cozy Things chat, and I am honored to be joined by my friend Rainey. I first met Rainey a couple years ago during the Betsy-Tacy read-along, and Rainey's monthly videos talking about her thoughts on Betsy-Tacy were always so fun for me to look forward to. And she is always also one of the hosts of the Year in Mitford, which is now past a year. And we're just slowly savoring the Mitford series by Jan Karen, and it's been so lovely. So Rainey's channel is Rainy Day Reads, and then she's also on Instagram, where you can see her crafting and reading and doing all the things. So welcome, Rainey, and thank you for coming on for a Cozy Things chat.
Hi, thank you for having me. This will be fun. I was kind of worried that I wouldn't have enough cozy things, and then I'm like, wait a second, my whole life is being cozy. So
your whole life is like anticipating all the little treats.
Yes. Yeah. So I had to like limit myself to like 10 things.
Yeah. Once you get going, it can be a challenge to just do 10.
Yeah.
We can be here for hours. I mean, if we could take a whole day and not run out of things that we find crazy. Yeah, so I guess we will just dive right into your list. So what is the first thing on your list?
Okay, so I added this one last minute, but we are currently getting a snowstorm, and well, I mean, not as bad as we did last week, but we're getting like a few inches. And being that we are just out of the Christmas season when we're recording this, one of my cozy things that I like to do at Christmas time is watch the Claymation, like Christmas type movies from, I don't know, probably like the 60s or 70s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know, but like I have them on DVD. Let me see. I have visual aids.
Yay! Show and tell.
Yes. Well, actually, why did I grab these? These aren't, well, this is like, okay. So we got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yes.
That's the classic right there.
Yes.
And then, of course, this is in claymation, but we have Charlie Brown, I have that. So, and then I have like really obscure ones, like, well, not really obscure, but Chipmunks Christmas.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah,
I like the like Chipmunks Christmas album, but I've never seen that.
Yeah, well, that song is on this one. So, and it's about Alvin gives his golden harmonica to a sick child, and
oh my goodness!
But of course, yeah, he gets in trouble for things that aren't really his fault during the whole thing. So, but yeah, I like to take time out of like every evening on the lead up to Christmas, just watching the old claymation movies and some like more modern ones, but I like to watch all those kind of Christmas movies. That's like you're a Hallmark Christmas movie person. I'm not so much. I tried it last year and I was like, nope, this is not for me.
Yeah, you know what you like and you just stick with it. And the nice thing about those movies that you talked about is they're very short. So it's easy to watch one in a sitting. Another one kind of that's an older one, it's not claymation, it's cartoon, but is the Snowman cartoon that has no words to it. And the song Walking in the Air is part of it. When this little boy makes friends with a snowman and they go flying. That's in that same cozy kind of category to me. And I like that one.
I feel like I've seen that one before, but I can't, like the no words thing doesn't ring a bell to me. So I'll have to go back and see if I can find that one.
Knock on wood. So far it's been on YouTube when I've wanted to see it. So
yeah. Okay. I'll have to look into it. Or next Christmas. Next Christmas cozy.
There you go. Alrighty. And then what is the second thing on your cozy?
Okay. So I have a TV show. Also, it is old, but the Little House on the Prairie TV series. I love that so much. That's like all I used to watch as a child. And I learned some big kid life lessons from from some of the later episodes.
Yes. Yes, they get a little spicy in the later
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah, I would say like the older ones are not quite as cozy to me, but like the whole series is cozy. But but yeah, when they move to Mankato is kind of when it stops being like super cozy.
They
Because
moved to Mankato?
or no,
Oh,
they move
South Dakota?
to a town. I thought it
Oh,
was
so it's
Mankato.
like, yeah, I think it's DeSmet is where that's
Oh,
a little town in the prairie years. So maybe,
okay.
so that's interesting. It's like they have
Yeah.
the first part of the show is kind of the prairie setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like later on, when after Laura is married, the rest of the family moves to, I think in the show they say Mankato. Now whether
Oh,
that,
that's so interesting.
yeah,
Because it just makes me
I'm
think
pretty
of
sure.
Betsy-Tacy.
Yeah, and like
That's so funny.
Pa, I believe he runs a hotel, or like
Oh,
somehow
wow. Yeah,
he's like,
that definitely seems like different than the book
yeah,
series. It was its own thing at that
right.
point.
Because yeah, they have a son who I don't think was a real
Yes.
part of the, yeah, and he gets into some like intense things.
I
And
have seen these episodes.
yeah,
Yes, but the younger ones, like the problems are very kind of like just simpler childhood
yeah.
issues. Um, yeah, and you know what I think is really cute is that apparently Melissa Gilbert, who played Laura, and I
Mhm.
can't remember his name, but the actor who played Albert or Almanzo,
Oh,
he was her first kiss. Like her first kiss was
oh,
on screen with him.
oh no, that would be horrifying, but it's also very cute.
Yeah, it's cute now. And I saw like a cast reunion, and she said he was just very nice about it being her
Yeah,
first. And he tried to not make it uncomfortable.
yeah. Oh yeah, I feel like for me that would have been absolutely horrifying.
Yes. Oh, definitely, definitely.
Because he was quite a bit older than her too.
He was. I
So
think
yeah,
is 10 years maybe too much? Is that saying? I feel like he was maybe as much as 10 years older.
yeah, probably, and probably in real life even more so.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but in this, like in the series, he starts out as like a fully grown man and she's still in her braids, and I'm like, oh no, this is. But when you're that young too, you're not looking at it like that. You're like, oh, he's so nice.
Yeah. Yes. And also, I think maybe then it's possible the age gap marriages were more common.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I never thought it was weird because that's just,
Yes.
we've talked about that before, like historical things. It's like you just have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yes.
But like anytime
Definitely.
I hear the theme song from that show and I see all the little girls like tripping down the fields, and like Carrie, the youngest one, like falls face down.
Yes.
It's just so cozy to me.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I bet that was candid. I bet they didn't tell her to fall down. Like, I'm
No,
sure that
probably
happened.
not. Yeah, yeah, it did not look planned. So.
Yes. It's funny because one time I was watching an episode of Murder, She Wrote, and this one side character, I'm like, I know I've seen her, but I cannot picture it. And it was Mary from Little House on the Prairie, but she's in like 80s makeup and like big, like Farrah Fawcett hair. And so it took me forever to figure out where I knew her from.
That would be weird. She was my favorite character on that show.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And like I used to walk around after watching that show. My mother made me bonnets for me and my friends. We would play Little House on the Prairie, and I would always be blind Mary. I didn't I didn't want to be sighted Mary. I wanted to be blind Mary. So like my friends would have to lead me around the house and out in the yard and stuff.
That's so cute.
I was an odd child, but but yeah, those have more like cozy nostalgia vibes to me than even the books do. Because I've read the books, but I don't remember like continually rereading them. But the show is like, I watched that probably well into my teens before I was like, okay, we should probably move on to something else.
a little variety in there.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and the third thing.
Okay, so the third thing is also TV movie. I'm not a big movie person, but I do love, and this is going to be very cliche for like our type of person, but I love the all the Jane Austen adaptations, like all of them. The only one that's not quite as cozy is the Mansfield Park one that like really goes heavy on the slavery aspect.
That's I think it's the 95 one.
Yeah.
I think you're not alone in feeling that. I have never heard anyone actually, okay, that's a lot. I knew one friend who really loved that movie.
Oh, really? I like it, but it was not what I was expecting.
Not at all.
And to me, like, I don't like, the reason I'm not a movie person is because I get really, really anxious if I think that something bad is going to happen, or if like something gory, or like if somebody's going to get hurt or whatever. I can't handle it.
Yes.
So,
but for some reason at books, I can handle tragic books.
Yeah.
Me
too. I don't visualize it.
And there's also the soundtrack to go along with it and to make all the emotions deeper. And no, there are so many good adaptations of Jane Austen. And I was thinking particularly how exciting it would be to be a Jane Austen fan in like 1995, because there were some adaptations then. But I don't know how many people loved them. I don't know. But I mean, there was the 95 Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth, and then Sense and Sensibility with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet and Alan Rickman, and then the Gwyneth Paltrow Emma, and Persuasion, the 1995 Persuasion, all came out that year. So it was a very exciting time to be a Jane Austen fan.
I must have been too young back then to really appreciate that, because I don't feel like I really became a Jane Austen fan until maybe college, and then like I discovered BBC Pride and Prejudice, and then it was all over.
What is wild to me is, well, I know that I did enjoy the 95 Sense and Sensibility as a child, because my parents caught me staying up late when I was supposed to be in bed and they were watching it. And then they gave up and were like, fine, you can stay up and watch it. But then it was just oblivious, kind of didn't really explore it more. And then I saw the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, and that's when I started reading Jane Austen. But it took me 4 times to finally like the 1995 Pride and Prejudice. I know, right? The first time I watched it, I was like, it's just like reading the book, and I would rather read the book. I don't know why. It just did not, it took it a long time to grow on me, and now I'm just obsessed and I love it.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like too, it's such a long, like it's a mini series. So, you know, if you're going to devote that much time to it, you need to like really want to watch it.
And you have to be committed.
Yeah, right. And I feel like I mean, obviously in college, you have your friends that are there, and they're like, do we want to have a Pride and Prejudice day where we just sit in our rooms and watch Pride and Prejudice all day? And we're like, yes, fine. And then you get out into the real world, and you're like, hey, anybody want to come over all day and watch Pride and Prejudice? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to be like really committed to wanting to watch it now by myself.
Yes.
And yeah, so that it doesn't happen as often as it did in college, but
yes. Yeah, and it's funny, I get restless during feature-length films now.
Yeah, me too.
I love watching shows, and I like dividing up a movie and watching some here and there, but it's a rare movie that I just want to sit down from start to finish. And I'm not worried about my attention span, because I'll sit with a book for a long, long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but all the Jane Austen things are very cozy, because you know what's going to happen. It's just love.
True. Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing intense about it unless you put in the slavery aspect of it.
Brings up the intensity.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's important, but I was not expecting it, and
yeah,
there was some intensity.
Yeah, no, very jarring when you're not
Yeah,
expecting it.
yeah. And I was like, I don't feel like this was in the book. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it's very subtly in the book. So I
yeah.
think you can draw it out, but
Mhm.
it's more behind the scenes. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh well. But okay, so now we'll go into my books. And of
okay.
course, we already kind of talked about this, but Betsy-Tacy, of course,
Yay.
very cozy.
Yes. And can
And
you kind of what's your pitch for the coziness of Betsy-Tacy? What
oh,
particularly draws you in?
okay. So I like that the intensity factor is not really there. Like
Yes.
a lot of her problems are not super intense.
Yes. Yes.
And I feel like though I like the friendship aspect with her and Tacy and Tib. And I'm a very like historical person in that I like that era, like the Edwardian Victorian era. So I just like to imagine that.
Yes.
And I like that it's based on real people. Um, it-
Yes.
it's based on Maud Hart Lovelace's friend group. So, just I like the additions we have, how they have the actual pictures and things of people and places in the back, and it just like helps bring it all out for me. And then like we just read Emily of Deep Valley and again, and that one was just the problems were more real than
Yes, they were. Yeah.
but it was still just not intense. It was still just like everybody was still pretty nice except for Dawn.
That for Dawn.
Yeah, we won't talk about Dawn. but
We won't waste our breath on him.
Yeah. but yeah, everybody else was just and the Rays, the parents, I love them so much.
Yeah, I think it's just a very safe world to be in.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like even though we're saying that her problems aren't really real, I think at the same time they are kind of relatable to teenagers.
Yes.
And like yes, it's old fashioned, but at the same time, there's the whole high school aspect and cliques and
agonizing over whether a boy likes you or not.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like if you like the historical aspect of it and you're a high school kid, you still are gonna like relate to them in some ways.
And also in Betsy, in spite of herself, changing yourself to make a boy like you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and they always do have like something that's a little bit hard. It's never I don't think it's ever really Betsy, but it's the people around her.
Yeah. With the exception of then when World War I breaks out.
Oh yes. Yeah. So yeah, there's always that. It's always thrown in there that where there's an actual hard thing, but it's done in a very calm way.
Yeah, definitely. Very fun.
Okay. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh wait, I should say another book one first. I have these all out of order, so I'm looking at my also a very cliche thing is at least the first Anne of Green Gables book. Yeah, I do like the whole series, but I feel like, and I think you said this too, like the first three, the first two or three are still, like we're getting Anne and we're seeing her grow up and fall in love, and it's kind of very it kind of goes with the Megan Fellows version, like it ties in pretty well with that. But then after that, it's just kind of like, okay. These were maybe afterthoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it's Anne of Windy Poplars, and then I can't remember the UK title of it, and I think also Anne's House of Dreams. Those were ones that she wasn't really feeling as passionate about, but she needed income kind of. Right. I know definitely she went back and wrote Anne of Windy Poplars, And then I don't know about the next one's like what her financial situation was or whatever. But I feel like just particularly in Anne of Green Gables, it just seems like such a passionate, just there's so much love there for those characters in that world.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I feel like when we get into the later books that focus more on other kids, they kind of try to bring that passion back in, but it's not the same because there's like way more kids.
Yeah.
And it's like a different time. So
Yeah.
it's not the same. You don't have the same like feels for Anne.
Yes. Yeah.
And then she just becomes like a normal mom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. It's hard to, when you have a character as kind of out of the box as Anne, to translate that same character as an adult. To have them feel the same way.
I would have liked to have seen that. I would, I kind of wish they would have, brought her the way she was out a little bit more, but well. We'll always have Anne and Matthew and Marilla.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think I could ever tire of Anne of Green Gables. Like ever.
Nope.
So, yeah.
I actually did though, like I think it was Anne's House of Dreams. Because that was when they first moved to like was it when they moved to Avonlea or no? Not Avonlea.
Going to bug me. It's Avonlea.
But wasn't there a lady that she would meet on near the water and there was like I actually did kind of like that.
I liked her storyline.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people are like, I just didn't like that one as much. And I was like, well, but you still kind of got the spunkiness, like that we were talking about of adult Anne.
Yeah. But it seems like there are kind of a few story vignettes that start to get repeated. And I think that is the book that I noticed that. I did like that plot line with the friend on the beach. But she kind of has a few like or maybe it's motif, like that where there's like the old man who has something sad from his past.
Oh, yes.
And then like the woman who her love is lost, when she was young, and it kind of starts to feel a little bit repetitive.
That's true. Yeah.
All the Anne fans, I'm probably making them very sad. So I do really like the first 3 books.
Yeah. Yes, we'll move on. And I have my visual for that is I also feel very deeply about these editions. I have
beautiful.
Yeah. What are these? Are these the Virago Modern Classics editions?
Those are so pretty.
I just love having them on my shelf. I actually think that I was asking Emma from the Bookish Princess what where she got those circular shelves that she has, like the corner, and because I kind of want to do that up in my filming area and like put these on there on like the top shelf. Maybe we'll see. I don't know, but
those circular shelves are they're very eye-catching for filming in front of.
Yeah, right. I originally wanted to get like the Billy ones that everybody has that I could like curve in. So I was like, I honestly don't have enough books I don't think, to fill those up. At the moment, anyway, we'll see.
Yes.
Eventually, I probably will have enough, but yes. So, okay. All right. So now that was, I do have one more book option. This is just a general one, cozy mysteries. I'm very into the cozy mystery genre. And again, it's because things happen, but they're done in a very like soft way.
Yeah.
And you don't really dwell on the like goriness of it.
The murder is always done off the page.
Yes. Yeah. Like you'll maybe see the person, like you'll find them and they'll maybe say like, oh, her head was bashed in.
Yes.
And it's like, but that's it. Like,
yes. Yeah. So, no, definitely.
And then like, that's like one chapter. And then like the rest of it is just them trying to figure it out or falling in love with the detective or something like that. And like a lot of people just think like, oh, it's so tropey and cheesy, but that's what I love about it. It's like I know what I'm getting when I read those books.
Yes.
It's kind of like the movies where I don't want to not know what's coming.
Yeah.
Because actually, this is going to sound really weird, but I was watching the Cranford miniseries, and right at the beginning, where I guess they like tied in some of like Dr. Harrison's confessions or something like that. And they have that guy that comes in the street and he's injured. Do you remember that part? It's so gross.
And his injury is very visible.
Yes. And I was like, oh no, this is not in Cranford. What is this?
Yes. Yeah.
I had to like get people to reassure me that wasn't going to be the whole thing. Because I stopped it. I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, no, there are a couple of really gross injuries in Cranford.
Yeah.
So you do. And I am a person, I have to avert my eyes. Like whenever I get my blood taken, I have to look away. And I still cannot believe I made it through all of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, because there are some very gross injuries in that show.
There are in that. And I loved that show.
Yes.
And I don't know why I loved it, because that's like everything I hate.
You had a different expectation for it. You went in, and also only Dr. Quinn could deliver her own baby.
That's true. I still remember that episode. Like I can clearly see all the stuff.
Very unforgettable. I knew as soon as she was pregnant, I thought to myself, she's going to deliver her own baby. And there, sure enough, she does.
In the woods with her husband just staring at her. Yeah, I loved that. That's another cozy show, which wouldn't be cozy to me normally.
Well, and there's some really upsetting episodes. Like there's a couple episodes to do with the KKK, and those are awful.
Yeah. I kind of don't remember those ones, but oh no, I do remember them. Yes, I do. But
there's some really fun ones. Like once the like hotel and spa open up, sort of outside the town, he's a newer character that comes. Those are fun. And then there's one where the circus comes to town. And there's also, I loved Johnny Cash was a recurring guest star. Johnny and June Carter Cash were recurring guest stars. Yes, he played Kid Cole. And
I bet I saw it, but
I can't remember her character's names, but I bet that was just a fun thing for him. And if there was any show that Johnny Cash was going to be a guest star on, it makes sense it would be Dr. Quinn.
This is true. Yeah. Yes. I probably just didn't even know who Johnny Cash was back then.
That's true. 10. Yeah, I was an adult when I watched it. That's the only reason he stuck out to me.
Yeah. I was a kid probably when I watched that show, and looking back, I'm like, why did my parents let me watch that? Like,
and also like Horace's wife, what was her name? Myra. I mean, she's a prostitute in the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah, and I probably totally missed that. Really.
Yeah, that's probably why they let you watch it. Is a lot of it just went over your head.
Yeah. So. But I remember like somebody's girlfriend getting rabies and dying.
Matthew's girlfriend, Ingrid. Yes, I was not expecting that.
No, that was terrifying.
She counted as a main character to me, and you cannot kill main characters.
Oh yeah, I think that was about the time where it started like tapering off for me.
Yes. Well, like, and at the end of season 6, they had Sully jumped off a cliff. I can't remember what circumstance made him, but he had to. That was like his choice. He had to jump off the cliff. And Dr. Quinn yells, Sully! And that's the end of the episode. And apparently Joe Lando, the actor who played Sully, hadn't made up his mind yet as to whether he wanted to come back for season 7. They just were like, we'll leave it open-ended. So then our next episode, we can just work with that. But apparently I saw an interview with Jane Seymour, and she said she would be open to doing a kind of reboot for it. Yes. And, but she took the role. Oh my goodness. Her terrible, terrible first husband got her, this is no joke, $1 million in debt.
Oh my goodness.
Right? He And so
Okay.
she divorced him and was like, I will take, and he did it in her, like got the debt in her name.
Oh,
And so
geez.
she's like, I will take any role, like anything. And then she signed on to Dr. Quinn, and then it ended up being such a success.
Well, that worked out for her.
Yes.
There's a reason for everything, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of those shows.
I think you can watch them with commercials on Prime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I do have Prime. Was it also on that Friendly app that you,
Oh,
or was
that's
that,
possible. It was.
yeah,
But
or,
I've never
oh, that's
watched it.
Little House. I think Little House was on.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because I got the Friendly app to watch the Hallmark movies when
Oh,
you and Bree were like, you need to watch Hallmark movies.
yes.
And I tried it and I was like, can I just watch Little House on the Prairie?
That's awesome.
I liked some of them, not all of
Yeah.
them.
Yes. Some of them, if I like the actors, I'll enjoy it. But if I don't like the actors, I just can't
Yeah.
tolerate them.
There was a cute one with Ben Savage. It was the
like
Hanukkah one.
Hanukkah and Christmas one.
Yeah, that was
watch that one.
Yeah, that was
I
a cute
I
one.
liked it. Yeah, it looked cute.
I mean, the only good actors were the ones that you knew, like Ben Savage and Mary Lou Henner, I think, was in that one.
Okay.
And yeah, so there were a couple like big name actors and they were good, but like some of the supporting actors, I was like,
ouch. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have big shoes to fill, so I mean, good for trying, but
yes.
Yeah, that one was cute. I like that one. Well, okay, let's see. Where else? What else do I have on my list? I jumped all around, so now I gotta look. Okay. Oh, so now, of course, my other cozy thing is crafting, knitting, and well, I used to crochet. I started crocheting more, first, not more. But now I don't really like crocheting.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. I could not get a handle on knitting for the longest time. And I was like, crocheting's fine. It's fine. But now that I've got a handle on knitting, and it almost seems easier to me now.
So interesting. It suits you more.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I keep hitting my tripod. Yeah, but I've actually made like a couple of sweaters and things, and it's just so nice to just sit down and watch some booktube and just have a cozy evening.
Yes. Yeah. And it's cool that, a night of relaxing, you can come out of it having made something.
Right. Yeah.
Or
and it's usually
something.
Yeah. And it's usually I'm not good enough that I can not look. Like so many people can not look. And I don't know if I just don't trust myself to not look, but yeah, I can I can maybe do it for a couple of stitches and then I'm like, no, I gotta look.
Yes.
So it's slightly distracting from other things, but
yes.
Well, and then and then cross stitch. So that's the other thing that I do now, and that's fun.
Yeah, and you've made some big projects with your stitching.
Yeah, so far just one really big one.
So the Alice, right?
Yes, the Alice in Wonderland one. And I have a Jane Eyre one that I'm working on by the same designer. But I think I got so like burned out after like hustling to finish Alice that poor Jane has been languishing in the bin for a while. Yeah, poor Jane. She will come out eventually, but I keep looking at her and I'm like, oh, I should do something. But yeah, I have, just like BookTube does this to you, and you buy all the books.
Yes.
Doing FlossTube, which is the new thing that I do. Yes. Makes me buy all the patterns, and I have like 10 projects on the go right now. And I'm like, I don't need 10 projects. Why do I have so many projects? So, but it's fun. Oh, that'll bring me to my next, that'll segue into my
There
next
we go.
cozy thing. I like all the beverages. I'm not a big snacker,
Mhm.
but I like wine and coffee and craft beer.
Mhm.
And I've started to like tea. I was never like a big
Oh.
tea person.
Mhm.
I'd like, unless I was sick. Then I think that's just why I associated it with, like, I associated tea with being sick, I guess. I don't know. So, but then I discovered like loose leaf tea and like fancier teas. So now it's like a little bit more of an event to have a tea
Yeah.
than just like Lipton's, you know, which Lipton's is fine. It's
Sure.
great. But so, but yeah, I find like that I always want, and this is more of just like a routine than like an addiction. And I get nervous sometimes because I'm like, every night I would like to have a glass of wine. And then I'll get like freaked out once in a while. I'm like, should I be worried about this? That I like need to have a glass of wine every night?
I think a glass of wine is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah,
and
it's fine.
especially, isn't red wine supposed to be good for your heart? Don't they say
That's where I go with it. I'm like, hey, it's a healthful drink, right?
my daily dose?
Yeah, my daily dose. It's fine. But I'm like, yes, I'm not drinking the entire bottle. I'm drinking one, like, and I even measure it out sometimes, like 5 ounces.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
No,
I'm like,
I think if you're aware of it, I think
Yeah.
glass of wine in the evening is a perfectly reasonable ritual to have.
oh yes, yeah, it's fine. But it is like, it's part of like my cozy in the evening.
Mhm.
But because I don't have a lot of decaf teas at the moment.
Mhm.
And like obviously coffee, even if it's decaf, I get concerned that it has like just enough
Oh.
caffeine to keep me up, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, usually like wine or a beer is like, that's obviously more of like a, I don't know, what do you call that? Like not a downer, but just, I don't know what.
Yeah, no, it relaxes you and
Yeah. So that's like my like every night ritual to get in my jammies and get a glass of wine and my cross stitch, or right now it's been cross stitch. I haven't done much knitting lately. So, and put on some booktube.
Oh,
and,
that's fun. Very
yes, especially right now when it's snowing out
yes.
and it's so cold.
Yes. Very cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been working from home a couple of days a week now, and I don't have to go into the office tomorrow. So I'm like, yes, it can snow all at once.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, you won't have to shovel off your car tomorrow.
Yeah. Sad thing about not having a garage. I miss not having a garage. But okay, so then what else? I think I only have like one more.
Oh my goodness, it always flies by.
I know. And I think I like combined stuff. So I gave like 10, but I combined. So, and my last one is just Broadway musicals. Like, and probably for the same reason that if you watch them live, and I know that you can get like kind of creative with like how gory things are, but like, you know, like I love West Side Story. People get shot in West Side Story, but you don't like, there's no blood. It's it's very quick. And
yes,
you know, and I just like live theater in general is just like, there are tense parts, but there's never anything like gruesome.
It's very true.
Yeah. And then there's always singing attached to it. So
yes. So is West Side Story your favorite musical?
No, it used to be. Because it's kind of the Romeo and Juliet thing. It's like a take on that. And I liked it. And then there was a guy in college that played Tony. And I was in love with him. So yeah, I maybe went to go see that show like the entire run. Just to
my
go
goodness.
see. I look back now and I was like, why? I mean, he was a nice guy, but like not,
Right.
you know, we didn't really have that much interaction.
That's so funny. Well, what's your favorite show now? Or would
Well,
you say you have a favorite?
well, I love the Newsies. So that,
Oh, yes.
yes,
I love movies. Oh,
yes. And actually, yeah, the movie version, I actually prefer to
yes.
the new Broadway musical. I
Yeah.
did go to see that when it was in New York
Mhm.
for like one of my birthdays. My friends and I went to New York to see it,
That's
and it
so
was
fun.
good,
Mhm.
but like there's a lot of different songs, and
Okay.
they're kind of like redone to even the ones we know.
Yeah.
so so it wasn't as, I mean, the dancing was still great and everything,
Mhm.
and the general feel was still there, but I'm like, I prefer the movie.
Yeah, the movie's so
Oh,
good.
yeah. And then one of my all-time favorites is My Fair Lady. That's
Yes.
I think I just like all the costumes in that. It's just,
Mhm.
and the racing scene in the movie. I love that. I don't know why, but
Swearing. Oh, it's so funny.
yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
So, but one of
yeah.
my favorite more modern ones is Wicked. I don't know if you've ever
Wicked's
seen that.
I actually it's funny. I haven't seen that many Broadway shows, but that was one, not when Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel
Mm,
were in it, but I
mhm.
did get to see it and it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, I know. Oh,
Really, really
that
good.
I did get to see it with Kristen Chenoweth and
Oh,
Idina
wow.
Menzel, and Defying Gravity was like
Oh,
crazy. I
yes.
love.
And then is the other song, the duet they have together, is it called For Good?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's so good also.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing show.
Yeah. And I saw it in Pittsburgh too.
Mhm.
And it wasn't, I mean, it was different because like the Pittsburgh theaters are so big. And
Oh,
the
that's a really good point. I hadn't thought
yeah,
of that.
so like some of the things, and I mean, and I couldn't afford to like sit down front. So I'm sitting in the nosebleed seats. And I mean, it was still good, but like I just remember in the Broadway version, because their theaters are a lot smaller. So even
Right.
in the back, you were still pretty close. And during like Defying Gravity, when Elphaba goes up in the sky and she's got like this light in
Yes.
the back, and it was very like dramatic
Yeah.
in on Broadway. It wasn't as dramatic in Pittsburgh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but it was still good. I mean, the music is
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just love all the musicals.
Oh,
And
very cool. Yeah, I really love like a lot of the Rogers and Hammerstein. I love Oklahoma,
mhm.
and I love With the Sound of Music. It's funny, as soon as I say Rogers and Hammerstein, then I'm like blanking on the different ones. I got to see State Fair in Philadelphia at the Walnut Street Theater, and I
Okay.
really enjoyed it then. The one that I don't like as much is Carousel.
I think I've seen that one.
There's
And
some
yeah,
weird elements
yeah, I kind of
going on
remember.
in Carousel. Oh, and you know what? The one too that is people are like, it's kind of uncomfortable, but I still love it, is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Oh yes, I love that show.
But it's so funny because my husband, he was not aware of the plot line of Seven
Mm,
Brides for Seven Brothers. And so we went to see it actually in Pittsburgh,
okay.
living in that area.
Uh-huh.
And during the sobbing women scene, he kept laughing uncomfortably the whole scene. Like it was just so he was like, this is very uncomfortable. They're like justifying kidnapping all the sisters. But it's
Just
also
go
a
with
catchy
it, Dave.
song.
Just go with it. It's fine.
Yes. Oh, and I love the is the song just called Spring when they're all singing about getting married in springtime? And
I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
it's been a really long time since I've seen that one. I
yeah.
maybe have only seen the movie version once. So like I can't
It's been a
remember
long
everything.
time since I've watched the movie, but
Yeah.
I remember
But,
loving it. Yeah.
yeah. I just always love when like there's that dancing, that kind of like almost like a line dancing style where they're all like dressed similarly. And
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, and the barn raising scene is very
yeah.
memorable. They get in fights or oh yes.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. It's a very larger than life kind of
Yeah.
plot.
Yeah. Yeah. The other one that I like
Mhm.
is the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella. That's
Oh yes.
that's
The
one of my
music
favorites.
is
Yeah.
so good. It's so
Mhm.
good. And which one is your favorite out of the three? Because I feel like you usually have a favorite out of the three, or do you like them all?
Well, you know what? I think I've only seen the the brandy version.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I do. That's probably my favorite. And I've seen like the black and white.
The Julie Andrews.
It must have been. I was so young whenever I first watched it. I cannot remember who was in it.
The only other one is with Leslie Ann Warren. She's have you seen Clue?
Yes.
She's Miss Scarlet in Clue.
Oh,
Yeah, and she's the one that plays Cinderella.
okay. I don't know. I have to go back. It probably was Julie Andrews. I can imagine that, like, if my parents were like, "Oh, we should watch this," it was probably because Julie Andrews was in it.
Yes.
So, but yeah, the brandy version, I love that one. It's
so
just,
good.
yeah. I mean, Bernadette Peters is in it. Whitney Houston.
Right?
I mean,
Whoopi
yeah.
Goldberg.
Heck yeah. George Costanza. Why did I call him that? Jason Alexander.
Yes. I saw actually on Instagram recently that the actor's name is Paolo something.
Oh yeah.
He posted a selfie with Brandy and I was like, oh my goodness.
I loved him. He
was very dreamy in that. I think he stole the hearts of many girls across America.
Yes.
In that film.
I think I was watching your chat with Victoria when she talked. You guys were talking about that too, and that was after we had just finished watching it together.
Oh yeah.
We watched it in Spanish. And
that's so funny.
Yeah, because we were like both. Well, she's way ahead of me learning Spanish, and I mean, has a more real life reason to need to learn Spanish.
Well, she lives with a Spanish speaker, so that automatically is kind of an advantage there.
Yes, she wants to communicate with her in-laws, so yeah, she would.
Wow.
But like for me, I'm like, I just want to learn some more Spanish. And so we watched it, which like all the talking was dubbed in Spanish, but all the songs were still in English, which was weird. But
that is weird.
Yeah, but it was still kind of nice.
You should watch Encanto, because I bet they have Spanish versions of all the songs.
Oh, probably. Oh yeah, I need to watch that. Yeah, that's on Disney Plus.
Very good. Yes. Yeah. And it was a feature-length film that I had no trouble sitting through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like those kind of feature-length films because I mean they're musicals, so they keep you kind of entertained a little bit more than just talking.
Yeah. And even my husband really enjoyed it. And he's like very he does not sit down for movies much. Like basically if I ask him, he will. But that was one that he came out saying like that was so good.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that one. So I'll have to sit down and watch that one sometime.
Well, thank you so much, Rainey. This has been delightful. And I will have all of Rainey's information linked down below. And I will be back with another video soon.
Thanks.